Yes. All right, here we are. Ladies and gentlemen, they call me the doctor. I'm the host with the ghost. Welcome to the new layout for the Phantasma streams. Here today, joined by the amazing team of Adult Fantasy. .io, Adult Fantasy NFT, a really great entertainment comics focused project that's minting now. Thank you for joining me. I'm joined by Dusty and Todd. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you on.
What up, Doc? How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I've been kicking it in the adult fantasy server here lately and joining them for their copious live streams that they do 5 nights a week on the YouTube. And we've been having a lot of fun. And I wanted to bring them on because I think that what they're doing is amazing. They've got a team full of amazing, talented individuals. And yeah, let's talk about it. So, Todd, Dusty, tell me a little bit about yourselves and I guess your roles within the adult fantasy community.
Yeah, so I guess I'll jump in first.
Yeah,
So my name's Todd, and I'm the founder of Adult Fantasy.
yeah,
And Adult Fantasy is basically a decentralized character universe.
hmm
So my background is that I spent maybe God almost somewhere around 25 years. I always try to I think a couple of years those years I blocked out or blacked out some
I've
kind of
been
missing
there.
time thing. But for close to 25 years, I was doing comics and animation. I worked at Cartoon Network. I was over at Marvel HQ in New York City for a while.
Awesome.
Had the chance to work with Stan Lee when he was alive. And I'm obviously a lifelong comic fan. So having been in it both as a fan a fan of comics and a fan of animation, and
hmm
as a professional, someone that actually directed, I think, somewhere around 150 different animated commercials and bumpers and spots all
Wow.
through the 90s at Cartoon Network and at the birth of Adult Swim, and then
Was
my
that
own.
you? Were you in charge of the bumpers?
I wasn't in charge of it, but I was one of the that was when I came in. So I came in at the birth of Cartoon Network, like right after the very first commercial, which was it was the Flintstones commercial that they did.
Yeah.
And right after
Yeah.
that, they got the one of the studios in Atlanta got booked for like all of like the whole thing, like the entire style, right? Like the
Yeah.
entire branding of Cartoon Network. And so I came in right there. And then over the next like 6 years, did like 150 plus
Wow.
commercials and pilots and everything from all of the coming up next and the little spots, everything from
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory and all the classic stuff once they started bringing in the classic Hanna-Barbera stuff once
hmm
Time Warner bought
Yeah.
Hanna-Barbera, and they started partnering with Warner Brothers. So started doing stuff with Warner Brothers. Ended up doing pilots for the Brack Show and did stuff with
Oh
Johnny
God.
Bravo and
Love the
all like
Brad
Space Ghost
show.
to Coast to Coast. I got to work
Yes.
with Clay Croker on that for a little while before he passed. And so having been on that side of it, one of the things that I always kind of daydreamed about, honestly, was like, man, wouldn't it be cool, like, as a fan, both as a fan and someone who creates the content, like you don't actually get to own anything, and I think people would be surprised, even when you're on the other side of it, even as a showrunner, when your show gets greenlit for Cartoon Network or Netflix or whatever it is, you're
hmm
giving up pretty much a vast majority of your ownership. You're
Yeah.
trading your equity and everything that you put into it for exposure. And that
hmm
can be great maybe if it's a massive success, but even
hmm
then, what you're really doing is you're buying yourself a job, a decent job, a
Yeah.
well-paying job. It's not
Right.
You're not, very, very few people work out deals like this, like Seth MacFarlane, right? And even he had to go
Yeah.
through like decades of shit to actually
Yeah.
own his thing. And
Right.
so, being like that on that side, and also being a fan, I always had this idea. I was like, man, wouldn't it be cool? Like, here we are, collectors and fans. You're wearing an X-Men shirt. I've got what I call the world's most expensive green screen behind me, which is just my collection of graphic novels and
Yeah.
comics, right? Like, we are the ones responsible for the X-Men being X-Men and Amazing Spider-Man being Amazing Spider-Man and Batman and Captain. Like, we're the
Yeah.
ones responsible. These things
Right.
would not
Exactly.
exist if we didn't buy the merch. We're walking advertisements for this merch, right?
hmm
And I was like, why, how cool would it be if, like, by owning like a Spider-Man comic, you actually, by helping that company with revenue and getting the word out, and buying the Venom comic, which they enough to then they make a Venom game, and you buy the Venom game, and they're like,
Right.
oh, there's enough people buying the Venom game to make the Venom movie, and you go see the Venom
Yeah.
movie. Like, how cool would it be to actually own a piece of that, or be a part of the actual creation of that, and be recognized as being a creator of that, not just an artist. On the artist side, you get a creator credit maybe for creating these things, but you're just destroyed. Like, they just take everything. They don't give you crap. You get nothing. Right. You get nothing. You get your name and maybe like a residual check if you're DC, and if you're from Marvel, you basically get a pat on the back and a thank you.
And even if you're a great artist, like, you may not necessarily even have ultimate creative control once you sign that contract, unless you're like, one of the big doggies, where you can say, like Todd McFarlane's not going to let anyone dictate really what he does. But I mean, like, when you get picked up by a publisher, a comic book publisher, whatever, even if you're a great artist and even you sell that idea, you still are kind of under the yoke of somebody else's ultimate creative decisions, like your editors and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in McFarlane, like, that was sort of like, I kind of call that like Web3 V1. You know what I mean? Like they didn't, those Image guys, your McFarlane's, your Silvestris, your Jim Lee, your LaFelds, like, they didn't have Web3. And so what they had is a cachet of fan base. They knew the fans were buying the books because of them, right? And they said, well, what if we launch our own comics, our own company? And sure, we can't possibly create something as popular as Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's been around at that time like 50, 60, 70 years or whatever. Yeah. But even if we sold just 1/10 of those books, but we got to keep 100% of it, using our name recognition to generate sales and traffic and make the art cool, like, we'll at least make as much, if not more, drawing our own thing, owning our own thing, than if we work for another company that could fire us on a whim. And what they found really quick is that they made tens of millions of dollars overnight, literally overnight. And it's amazing to hear them talk now, because if they knew so little about marketing that they could have done some basic, simple things, and it would have 10x their revenue, right? Like, one of my favorite, total sidebar, but one of my favorites is like they had just gotten off of Jim Lee had done X-Men #1, and it had that 5 cover, that gatefold cover, right? And because it had 5 covers and it was X-Men #1, it was Jim Lee, it sold the most comics of any comic in history. I think it sold like 8 million copies or something like that. Like, it made a fortune. And it didn't even dawn on, like, all the Image guys left. They Spawn and Savage Dragon and Wildcats. It dawned on, and Youngblood, it dawned on none of them. Can you imagine if all of them had come out with those books, and all of them had done like a 5-fold gatefold cover to match X-Men #1? Right. Yeah. It would have 5x whatever, they would have made hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. And so, but it just showed you what was possible. And now with Web3, we have this ability to say, look, we can create these characters just like we always did, but now we can actually, as a community, work together. And if Doc has a great idea for one of the characters, and that becomes lore, and that becomes canon, and that becomes a story, why shouldn't you A, get credit for it, and B, somehow get rewarded for it? Right? Yeah. Like, you should be able to say, yo, that piece of that story is because of me. And you have all of this, you have this whole universe of fan fiction in every corner of fandom. There's Harry Potter fan fiction, and Star Wars, and you name it. And none of it matters.
We're shipping characters.
Right. And none of it matters.
That's like the biggest pocket out there too, man.
Totally. And it's like, none of it matters because it's got an old school corporate mindset stopping it from being worth anything. In fact, if you take your fanfic and you try to sell it, you're screwed. Look what happened to Star Trek. They did all the Star Trek, I know, filmmakers making amazing web shows that were better than the actual shows that Paramount or whatever was putting out. Yeah. And they get shut down. I was
talking with Eben Matthews from about that too on an interview. Those Star Trek, they recreated that whole set, man. And there was a guy who was making a really amazing VR walkthrough of the Enterprise, like deck by deck. I mean, like, amazing. An Unreal Engine. I think he did one for the Orville too, which I guess they don't care about. But yeah, Paramount came in and shut him down like real fast, man.
Right. So it's a huge advantage for us. Like, anyone in Web3, it is a huge advantage to say, you know what? We're cool with it.
Yeah,
That's it.
right.
That's all
Yeah,
you got to
that's
say is,
it. Yeah,
"Oh,
exactly.
that's cool."
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing for people to. It really is a hard thing for people to get. Like we still get people from in our community DMing and saying, "Hey, I'd really like to write a story. Is it okay?" And
Mhm.
we're like, "Yeah, not only is it okay, like let me know whatever you need, I'll help."
That's
And
cool.
like if
Yeah.
when it's done, we'll promote it for you. Like go
Mhm.
make a book or an NFT, whatever you want, man. We will let's hook it up.
That's
You
awesome.
know?
Speaking of community, I want to switch over to Dusty Sky because Dusty, you are the community manager for Adult Fantasy. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct.
How did you get roped in with this crazy group of individuals?
Well, it all started back when I lost my job at my 9 to 5. I did not fit in. I thought I could work a corporate slave job, and I couldn't.
Man.
And then one day, Todd was posting, "Hey, we need some people to help." And I told him, I said, "Todd, I don't think I can do this." And he's like, "You can do this." And that was like the hook, right? He hooked me in, and he was like,
Wow.
you're just gonna control the Discord. It's okay." And then pretty soon
Boy,
he's
what a
got
silver
20.
tongue you have, Todd.
Pretty soon he's got like 20 different hats on me, and I do a bit of everything now. We're all over the place. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. So I mean, so let's actually go ahead. I want to let me go to the screen share thingy. However we do that, I think it's like this. Okay, good. I just started the StreamYard thing. Let's take a look at Adult Fantasy. It's adultfantasy.io for you kids at home. We've got like, dude, I love this art style. What's going on here? It is highly reminiscent of. I'm just see if I can. Nope, it just didn't zoom the right thing in there. See if I can zoom that page in a little bit. So I love this art style. It definitely feels. I definitely get the Cartoon Network vibes coming off of this. Who drew this? Who's the artist here?
I did.
Now, this is you, man.
Yep.
I love it. Oh, by the way, touching back on Adult Swim and stuff like that, I remember like having a watch party with my buddies when Adult Swim premiered. Like we were waiting for it forever. And the bumpers and all that kind of stuff, like whatever you built there, like man, I just want to like personally thank you for your involvement because Adult Swim changed things.
It
It
did.
changed things for entertainment and it brought like adult animation back to the forefront. It gave like a voice to like the weird. Um, I mean, like, there's so many amazing things like Tim and Eric. I'm a
Oh
huge Tim
yeah,
and Eric
man.
fan. Like, those
Sure.
guys are absolute geniuses. My wife questions me whenever I bring them up or show her anything, but that's okay. She's with me on most stuff. But I love these characters. I love the the line art is nice and thick and chunky. It's yeah, these guys are so cool. Tell me a little more about you've because there's also some amazing people that you have on the team as well, and I want to kind of scroll down to I think you have the team in there. Yeah, tell me a little more. So your wife works on the team as well, right?
Yeah. So
How cool is
Melissa
that?
is my significant other, and I roped her into this a long time ago. I was like,
Yeah,
she
as
she
it
knew I
should
was
be.
she knew I was nuts before she married me, so she had no clue.
Right, yeah, as long as it's already on the contract, like, they can't like, I think mine would probably have returned me to the store, but she lost the receipt a long
That's
time
pretty much
ago,
right.
and at this
Right.
point, they won't even give her
Yeah.
store credit, so she's
Yeah.
stuck.
I
Uh,
told mine, I was like, "You're just gonna have to get a forklift if you can afford it, because I'm not moving."
You've
But
got Flint. You've got Flint, who is your crack shot, developer, right?
yeah, so Melissa is a senior dev,
Mhm.
and she basically is our lead Solidity. So she does all of the smart contracts and does all of the
Amazing.
basically our minting site, all of the development on the minting site that we've been
Mhm.
building for all the custom stuff we do, all the burn mechanics. Like she's 100% Solidity, the contract side, and Flint is the genius behind the tech, the proprietary tech that we use for the actual NFTs, because our NFTs do things that no other NFT does, right?
Yeah.
So he's the crackpot mind behind that.
Right. Excellent. Then we've got plenty of it. Where does Andrew fit into all? Where does Drew fit into all this?
so
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 for
yeah.
those that are wondering, Drew is a comic shop proprietor, and he comes in for the lore writing nights on the stream, and he's a source of great entertainment
Yeah.
Some of the times,
So
and some groans too.
for sure. Andrew and Avery and Ramel, who you see on our lore games,
Yeah. There's
I've
Avery.
known since high school. So we all
Oh,
went to
really? Okay.
an art high school together. So we've all been literally drawing and creating stuff since we were 14, 15 years old.
That's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, and we just kind of like refused to stop talking to each other. You know what I mean? Through the years.
That's a
So
beautiful thing. I have a few friends that are still like that I've known for, 25, 30
yeah,
years.
exactly. It's
Um,
really fun, especially since we still have the same. We still have the same. We nerd out about the same stuff. Like we never changed. You know what I mean?
yeah.
We've all
Yeah.
done. Like Andrew owns a comic shop. Avery is a professional illustrator.
Mhm.
Ramel is a brilliant storyteller and a genius artist. So it's just we all stuck with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Can
yeah.
you show off where is the and I should have asked you on the pre-call here. Where is it under the tech at all? Like where can that the viewer of the NFT with the origin comic?
Oh
Where
yeah. To go to if you go to origins dot adultfantasy.io. So if you just go to origins plural dot adultfantasy.io, that's the actual mint site.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
and
Because
that'll pop up.
I want to show everybody at home what we're doing here.
Yeah,
Uh, I'm super excited for the reveal too. So the first issue, the origin issue, is out, is minting now.
it's minting now.
Um,
Yeah,
there's your beautiful visage on the.
look, it's a conception.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Uh, that's. Oh, let's see if we can full screen this action. I don't think it's. I don't know if it's going to pick up on the thing. So okay, I actually
Yep.
did there. Sorry.
Yep. Yeah, yeah. So this is just the MP4. This is just the movie version of it. And so
I just. There we
there
go.
it goes. So this is just a movie re-rendered, so you could keep it on a loop and kind of watch it.
Yeah.
So this is what you're looking at is actually a fully engineered uh, case. So this is a grading case, and it's basically what Flint did. What we did as a team is we created a game engine. So this is literally a game engine, and inside the game engine is a player, and inside the player, of course, is this object.
Mhm.
And one of our core tenets with AF is that for us, utility is important, of course.
Yes.
Whatever the NFT gets you, obviously the benefits of that is paramount.
Mhm.
But we also believe that the NFT itself is the medium, meaning
Yes.
it's not just like the thing that gets you the other thing.
Yeah.
It is a collectible. It is an asset. It is
Right.
as real as my comic collection behind me and my original
Mhm.
art collection.
Mhm.
And so,
Mhm.
because of that, what we wanted to do was to create a system that would reflect that. So, this is a fully engineered case, meaning we could actually go to production tomorrow and print it out and get it mass produced. So, it's a real case that would really hold a real book. And then what we did is, before we launched in 2021, we spent an entire year creating and inventing and patenting this technology that allows us
Wow.
to create generative damage on a book. So when you mint, you're actually getting a randomized generative damaged book. So it's not like you're sliding a JPEG of damage on top of a thing and there's like five
Right.
different looking like every single comic, no matter what number you mint, 10,000, 100, whatever it is,
Mhm.
every single book is 100% unique.
So you're gonna have bent corners on some
Yeah,
stuff like
100%.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, big corners, rips, tears. Some of it's
Right.
like a 10.0 gem would be pristine. A
Yeah.
9.9
Weathering.
would be a little less.
Yeah.
And we go to the
Spilled your
10th.
soda on it.
Yeah, 100%. And like,
Yeah.
and just because we have a little bit of that Adult Swim like humor to us, we were like, well,
Yeah.
this is digital. We don't have to. We're grading the books, but we're not grading it by human hands, right? This is an
Mhm.
AI doing it. So why
Yeah.
not grade to the 10th decimal? So at the bottom, when you see the grading number, you see the
Yeah.
string of numbers. So really, every single book is completely unique.
Wow.
And what we did for the first launch, which were the character cards, we used the technology we kind of pushed it to the extent of what we could do with it, which
Mhm.
was so when you minted your original characters, every single card, every single owner had an NFT that had the exact same grade. So it all started at a 0.5, which is poor, which means everybody got an NFT that looked like dog shit. Like everyone got just this trash card, you know, like different characters and different rarities within the characters, but all the cards look like shit. And then what the
this is the only NFT project that I know of that guaranteed you a junky looking NFT on Mint.
Right?
Like,
totally.
This is why I'm here.
I'm telling you, man, you either get it or you don't, you know. But then basically what we did is the algorithm, the game mechanic, the game system that we invented. What it does is it essentially rolled die on the back end, like a pair of dice on the back end, to determine whether or not the grade would change on a daily basis, and if it changed, what changed about it. So every single day you can go to your card, your character card, and maybe the centering has gotten better, maybe the edges have gotten a little better, maybe the corners have gotten a little better, maybe the surface is a little bit better. You know, I mean, the surface on some of the really bad grades, the staples are kind of rolled on the back, just like you would have on like a rolled comic, and it actually improves over time. So it de-ages in real time. It is a real-time dynamic NFT. And so every day it's like it's like the world's slowest marathon where day one, everyone's at a 0.5, and now we're about a year and a half, or about almost a year into it. And everyone, some people have a 1.3, some people have a 2.01, some people have a 0.57 and hasn't moved yet.
That's awesome.
And so
I wish that were true. I have some Garbage Pail Kids, and I've got an atom bomb, but the sticker came off, and it's like scotch taped on there, and it's got some dirt and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
you know that thing is worth like 10 grand mint or something.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. Yeah. So yeah, I wish that were. I mean, it happened back then. That's not like I scotch taped it today, like. But yeah, it's just in this like old McDonald's boo bucket, Halloween boo bucket that they used to give out back in the day. I've got. Look, they're actually right here. Look, I'm pulling the Todd where I reach back, and then Todd, like in his live streams, he'll be like, "Bro, check this out, guys." He'll be like, when he pulls out like these amazing pieces of artwork from all the like most famous comic book artists ever. He's like, "Yeah, this is just like I'm propping my legs up with this crap and under my desk." So yeah, actually, I don't know. Yeah, I've just got like a giant bucket of these. I need to probably put them in sleeves someday, but. Yeah, I was showing them to my my daughter the other day, and she got them all. Garbage Pail Kids, man. I mean, this is the kind of stuff like that probably helped create your twisted mind. I'm sure 100%. As well. Yeah.
In fact, the card style. So the card style for the characters, the front of the card is inspired by Garbage Pail Kids. So
I saw that.
A Garbage Pail Kid style card, and the back was inspired by Marvel Series 2, which was like one of my all-time favorite card sets, where it had like the bars and the biography.
I have a whole bunch of those right by me as well.
Yeah. Did you know that Storm, blah, 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 blah? And you're like,
the factoids, man.
Yeah.
That's the best stuff. Yeah. I've got a couple. Actually, I have a couple good. I have like the like the Thanos first appearance card. I think is probably the most valuable one in there. Yeah, and those are actually all like still very, very minty fresh. So yeah, I'm happy to report that. But, yeah, the garbage because I bought those in my teens. The Garbage Pail cards, you know, I was probably still like, you know, whatever they came out, 7 or 8 years old. So I was trading them and swapping them, and
I learned
all that kind of stuff.
I learned my lesson not to throw out anything. Everything that because I was always into comics, so I always kept my comics in mint condition, but like I had all of the Garbage Pail Kids, and like I even had like early Wizard of the Coast cards and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, but I wasn't really into it, so I got rid of it at like a flea market. And now I'm like, it's the worst decision I ever made.
I know, me too.
Outside of selling like
I got rid of a bunch of old toys, you know, before I should, like Dino Riders and a lot of weird 80s toys that like 90s toys that you don't see that often, not even in thrift shop. Dusty, what about your background? Are you as big a geek as the rest of the fellas, or were you just like in this Web3 thing, and like where do you fall into play on the level of one to very nerdy?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because growing up, I was never really into comics. Like I was into Pokemon cards a bit, into things like G.I. Joes, but adult fantasy was my first introduction into comics.
Yeah.
And actually, just recently, Todd sent me some of my first comics to read. So it's been really
Oh,
fascinating,
cool. Yeah.
like diving into the comic world, because
Wait,
it's a new
Doc, you
experience.
gotta ask him what I sent him.
Yeah. What did you send him?
I just finished reading the Max. The Max,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
so good. It is so good.
One of the best series ever, man. Sam Keith is you just can't go wrong with anything
Right?
Sam Keith.
I was like, I gotta send him something, and I know everyone tries to break people in with the Watchmen or Dark Knight or Born Again or something, but I was like, man,
Yeah.
I gotta send him something a little different,
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to drop the too heady of stuff on there. You just want to give maximum impact. And
Right.
and Sam Keith's, his art style is just so outrageous and so dynamic. You can't really go wrong there. Plus, hey, you've got the MTV animated series too that you can follow up on and see all that real time, which was actually really cool.
Which is one of my all-time favorite animated shows.
Yeah. How important is animation these days? I mean, because you work for Adult Swim and Cartoon Network and stuff like that, and I would say it's transformative. But like, what can you do? Because there's like in Web3, so we've got things like Basement Gang and Stoner Cats who are doing some animated stuff. Like, where, I mean, will will entertainment in blockchain, because using blockchain technology, like, we don't have to be necessarily tied to cryptocurrency to use this technology, right?
Right.
I mean, so will entertainment be the thing that supports blockchain technology in the next several years, since we're not necessarily tied to the market, but we can still appreciate its use? I mean, with the use cases.
Oh, 100%, man. I think you're going to see. I mean, if you look at the history of where Hollywood has gone the last 20 years, like we're old enough, all of us here, we're all old enough to remember when Hollywood used to write original stories and create original franchises, and those things would be awesome. You know what I mean? And they don't do that anymore. What they do is they look for existing fan bases and then co-opt it, right?
Yeah,
post-COVID with that.
But post-COVID, it's got incrementally worse. That just making the safe bets, right?
For sure, exactly. And so I think what you're going to see is, and I think what you're seeing now is that you have projects and companies, like smaller teams, whatever, jumping into Web3, trying to go ahead and build that audience around the thing that they all want to make together. And there's such a potential for a stronger bond when everybody has skin in the game. You know what I mean? Like when everybody's on the right path and everyone supports the same thing for the right reasons, then you have such a bigger chance of getting picked up by the Netflixes and the Hulus and the Amazons.
Right.
If that's your choice, right?
Yeah.
That I think what you're going to find in the next couple of years, I think it's the next phase, meaning we just went through the comic adoption phase, which is that phase that like guys like us waited for our entire lives.
Right, yeah, we're all vindicated.
Why aren't they making a Daredevil series? And all they would have to do is pick up the comics and just do Born Again. Like here's Elektra. Like, and they finally did it. And for a lot of it, it was exactly what we ever wanted. Like a lot of it, like at least like phase 3 or whatever it was, like was phenomenal, right? Like we had 10 years of blisteringly good content from the best stories. And you could argue that there's still a ton of stuff that can tap into.
Yeah.
But I think we're about to hit the next phase where now that's already settled, Disney owns Marvel, which means nobody else can get Marvel, right? Nobody else can get DC because that's Warner Brothers, and nobody else can get Marvel because that's Disney. And same thing with Star Wars, right?
Yeah,
so all of those classic entities are off the table. Yet we have more companies and more streaming services out there than ever before, dying for 24/7 content. Your Hulus and your Netflixes and your Amazons and you name it. There's like another streaming service popping up every day looking for content. And so they can't go after those. Oh, do we drop? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Hi.
That was me.
Hello again. No worries.
No, I don't know how to work the buttons yet.
Totally fine. Neither do I. So those were because of all the top projects have been taken up, right?
Yeah.
all these other services have no other choice but to go right down the list, right?
Yeah.
So it's up to us to be like right next on the list. And we have the benefit. It's not the next comic book anymore. It's like, oh,
Right.
look, these guys are not only are these guys doing a show or doing a comic or doing a thing, but we have the sexy tie to technology and startups and community building, right? It's got
self-funding, fund and being
funding.
able to be easily funded.
That's right. And so I think the Web3 projects are going to be the next to be swept up. Like give it 3 to 5 years. And I think just as it's like everything on TV and streaming was like from a comic at some point.
Yeah,
like
right.
everything is from a book or comic. Like that's pretty much it.
Absolutely.
I think the next wave
you've
is
got
coming.
like Archie comics on there, you know,
That's
with
right.
Riverdale and stuff like that. And
That's
Sabrina
right.
was
Sabrina
a good
and all that
show
stuff.
too. Sabrina's a good show. I really
Yep.
enjoyed it. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So okay, so if let's say if there were like taking out the Star Wars, the big projects, stuff like that, Dusty, if there were one like geeky IP, could be comic, could be whatever, in your life that you would like to see made into something big, what would it be?
I would say I don't know if you've heard of the NFT project, the Glue Factory. It's about
No.
these horses. Yeah, so they have an animated show basically about horses in a glue factory. Basically,
Actually, I do think I saw something about. I saw somebody post like an NFT or a still or something like that. That would be it.
it is so funny. Like I want to see those guys go huge. What they're building is so funny, and I love it so much. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Todd, you any Web 2, Web 3, whatever, like niche, what if you could see one project you care about and love, like transition, what would it be?
Well, you know I'm going to say AF, right? Like I know that's a shill, but
Well, of
like,
course, yeah. Oh, me
yeah,
too. Of course, I want to see adult fantasy.
You know,
succeed.
I honestly, man, like I've gotten to the point where I want everything to transition. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I want it all to go over. And because of that, I sort of just focus on what we're doing. And, you know, like all of the stuff that I'm looking at nowadays is all the classic stuff. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
yeah,
I find I'm a Wednesday's child where I went to the comic shop every Wednesday to get those new books. And I did it my whole life. And I don't do that anymore, really, because I'm not like the quality is not to where I would prefer it. And the storylines I think are pretty crap now. And it's clear that it's been the dynamics have been reversed, where it's not the creators driving the story that's feeding into the production studios. It's the production studios saying what they need and publishing
the sales,
just making whatever the hell. Like the money is told the comic industry what to make. Right. And, oh, we're going to be launching. Hey, we're going to be launching this in the next year. So we need you to go ahead and make the book for it.
Yeah, we need tie-ins and we need to prep for all the
that's not
extra
the way to make it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
content.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And so the stuff that I'm buying is like all the classic stuff. Like I'm going through like, you know, Walter Simonson's classic Thor run and, you know, getting into all the stuff that I missed. There's, you know, 100 years of awesome content. So there's no fear of running out of cool stuff to buy anytime. You know what I mean? So, but because of that, and like, I'm like, okay, cool. Because that's all been eaten up. Most of the stuff that I want to see transition are people like inside of our universe, right? Like you mentioned Stoner Cats. And I can't mention everybody. I'll just never be able to do it. But like Block of Horror and Fringe and Hail Draconis and like
Slenderdow. The Slenderdow guys are awesome.
Slenderdow guys, those guys. 2112, like all these guys, Meta Travelers, like you name it. Like again, I don't want to mention. I can't mention everybody, so I'm gonna forget everybody.
Yeah.
But those are the people that I want to see transition because they're the ones in the game and they're the ones pushing. And they're the ones that actually give a damn, and they're the ones that are here for the long term.
Yeah,
they're here because they love it.
See their AI comic that Zach made with dude.
Yeah,
insane.
So good.
That's a whole other topic of conversation we'll have to get on sometime. So I do want to give. Okay, so you're right. I of course I support any creator, especially entertainment in Web3. But for my Web 2, I want to give you my answer, and that is Mike Allred's Madman. That's what I would like to be.
Yeah,
that would
be great.
That would be awesome, man. That would be awesome.
I guess I don't know. I'd have to look. You know, I don't know. I'd have to really think about it. Like Akira, maybe some of the. I'd love to see maybe some of the old, super old stuff, like Jordy Bernay's Torpedo or something weird that would
Yeah.
never something from like the 40s or 50s just make the jump. You know.
That'd be interesting. There was shoot, I can't remember the NFT. I'll have to just skip that because it's pointless. But they were using like the old animation style, like Cuphead looking stuff, you know,
Oh
for
yeah.
this NFT. They're all black and white too. I
Yeah,
can't
I know
remember the name of
exactly.
the
I
project.
can't remember the name of it. I know exactly what you're
Yeah,
talking about,
somebody
though.
just
Yep.
showed me that today.
Yep.
Well, look, guys. Of course, you know, anything I could ever do to help you, I'm always here and ready to nerd out at any time. I hope that you and the Phantasmal audience have been amazed by the not only the deep level of experience, commitment, and love of the Web3 tools and technology that Adult Fantasy has made. So we want you to come in and hang out, come in, join the streams. You're doing 5 nights a week, right? Either chill streams or theoretically streams where we're building lore if we ever get there. Last night was fun. Last night was goofy, but yeah, it's a ton of fun. I can't more highly recommend it enough. The mint is still happening. The mint's on ETH. Please visit the website. Support these guys, support the people that are creating entertainment in this space, because I mean this is the next wave, right? And community collaborative community creation of media and entertainment is the next phase. When we take all of our ideas, when you're a guy like me who's in a little podunk town of 15,000, and my daughter who sits there and with her friend writes ideas for video games or stories or sketches her anime people, like she has the ability to connect with communities like you, although she's probably not twisted enough yet to enter the halls of adult fantasy NFT. I'm getting there though. I'm getting her there. I'm teaching both of my children the ways. But you know, it's cool, and it's reassuring to me that if you know we're making this foundation, but for the people like us who didn't have that ability, and when I was growing up, who had to sit there and I mean work 1,000 times harder to or move to an entirely different place to I mean, like, for you to have that ability to share the things that you're building so easily with and instantly find a like-minded group of individuals that share that with you too and will support, and you can support each other. That is what's amazing, and it's going to level the playing field. It's going to make people feel better at the end of the day, either by participating, by creating, by consuming, like knowing that you're doing that with this group of people that all I mean, like, that's a good feeling, right? And that's all that we want in the end, is just feel good about doing the stuff that we love. I fully support what you all are doing, and I just want to thank you for coming on the big show.
Oh man, thank you so much, dude. I couldn't say it better myself. I absolutely. I think the people that are here now are the people you need to support across the board,
Yeah.
because it's very easy. It's very easy to be here when it's a bull run and you can throw a dart and make money and it's a cash grab for everybody. But the people that are here now are here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're here because they love the people, they love the space, they love the market, and they love creating. And they're most likely in it for the long haul. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Dusty, any final words of wisdom from you?
Working with Todd has been one hell of a ride, and I look forward to a long future together.
I do too. That
Oh.
sounds very, very sweet. Todd, any final words of wisdom for you, my friend?
Yeah, you know, I'm gonna shill. I'm gonna say hop over to origins.adultfantasy.io. Go check out the mint. If you we're doing one feature, which is a burn feature, which is you can get a little Ashcan comic for $2, an Ashcan NFT, and you can burn it and you can get an original comic. And then we have a whole bunch of game mechanics surrounded by it, so that if you buy multiple, you can start to unlock. We're on unleashing the world's first NFT that has a chromium cover.
Yes.
We also have the first the first blacklight cover, which is freaking crazy looking. In fact, maybe in the green room, maybe Doc, I'll give you a sneak peek. But thank you, man. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate everybody for coming out and hanging out with us and watching us, and definitely appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much, Phantasma Soldiers. You know what to do. Get out there. Go follow. Go follow Adult Fantasy NFT. Head to the website. And support the people that are supporting entertainment in this industry. So thanks again, guys, and we will talk to you soon.
Peace out.
And
Bye.
push the